Hello and welcome. My name is John Hobby and welcome to Moneycards episode 2. Before we dive into this incredibly deep world of face cards, we're going to play a quick hand here. We're playing with a little set of bicycle. I believe these are jumbo indexed cards. All right, grab 2 cards off of your deck at home, everybody. Tell us what you have in the description and let's flop. Not in the description, in the comments below. There we go. Wow. That's an interesting paired board right there. We'll see what people have here. What do you think the best hand is? Quads? Yeah, let us know. I mean, that's a very, there's no flushes out there. It's a very straighty quad full house board right there. The cards and the chips, both seem to do pretty well. Now, in this episode, we are focusing on paper cards, okay? So these are plastic-coated bicycle paper cards, air cushion finish. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar. This is the jumbo index right here. So you can see the index numbers right here are large, but the pips are kind of smaller. My grandmother loves these. These are the only ones she will purchase because I believe, and then here's the standard, you can see this may be done by a 2-year-old, or it might just be that I'm really impatient and just tore it open. And quite honestly, I don't even remember. I know that he has destroyed a few of these boxes and decks, come to think of it. Okay, so let's talk about the differences here. We're talking about paper cards, so let's talk about, and this applies to more than just paper cards. We're going to talk about the difference between the jumbo index and the standard index right up front. Now, actually, before we do that, you can start seeing the differences right here. This series is going in a linear fashion. So I'm going to talk about paper cards today, and then at a future date, I'm going to talk about plastic cards, and then we're going to draw conclusions and talk about the decision process after we come out with these individual videos. I think it's good to set a base before we start talking about why we're making decisions. If we talk about why we make decisions, then why would you even need to discuss in depth the details? So jumbo's on the left. You can see the jumbo indexing right here, the huge Q, and the standard has the small Q. The larger box right here for the artwork, and a smaller box here for the artwork. And if you look closely, these are both Queen of Spades. But you'll notice the diamond scepter here and the upside down heart scepter, the spade scepter here. Isn't that interesting? I thought that was really interesting. The same brand, what looks like identical decks, except this one has some ads on it and stuff. So you would expect, some similarities there. And there are similarities, but, different face. It's just a different card. Obviously, if they're going to shrink the artwork down, they may make it want to scale a little bit better, all right? It's not just the face cards. You look at the pip cards. For those of you new to face cards, these little symbols right here, this clover, the club symbol, is the pip, okay? So these are face cards and these are pip cards. So you can see this one doesn't have the box around it. This is the standard set. Some people like that really clean look. Whereas some people, the big number is more important. The big index number is more important than the pips. So there you have it. Standard on the right, on your right, and jumbo on the left. Pretty interesting, all right? So now let's get down to kind of my first thoughts. Now, I've been raised with cards my whole life, all right? And I've explained in episode 1 how my tastes have changed. It kind of goes around in a big loop of the circle, and I'm always looking for something new and interesting and something that stands out that is unique. Come to find out, we had a long discussion last poker night about this. I guess I'm kind of alone in this. People want to see this. People want to see standard pips. They want to see standard faces. They want to see easy to read letters and numbers. They don't want like French, like V's, or R's for king, like the Ray, I don't even know how to say it in French, but you know what I'm talking about. They have R's and V's, and it's hard to tell, some of these face cards if, you're not familiar with the French language. So a lot of people just want the standard, easy to read. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to see anything special on the back. They don't want to even think about it, okay? Let's roll in some other ones. You guys have seen enough of these probably, just to compare. A little cherub, a winged cherub on a bicycle. Why is he or she riding a bike if she has wings? Who knows? Who cares, right? It's a deck. It's a little avant-garde, all right? So let's get one of those out of the way. Let's leave that one there. Let's roll in some. These are also made by the U.S. Playing Card Company, so again, these aren't special. Casino quality, okay? And so in my adventures here, looking for exciting cards, I've brought some pretty unique decks to the table and just shuffled them, dealt them, and nobody noticed for the first few hands. And then finally, when I'll roll in a plastic set where one of my friends was just like, after a few hands, he's like, "Oh my gosh, these cards are amazing!" It was pretty funny, but right up front, nobody noticed, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like if it's too unique, then a lot of people don't like them. I found, which baffles me, but that's how it is. I was thinking, look at all this nonsense. I was thinking, hey, these are unique, these are interesting. People are going to love these. Not these, but like different sets of decks, and sure enough, they don't. A lot of people just don't care for them. So you have to remember that and take that into consideration when you're buying a deck. Why on earth are you buying your paper deck? Okay, so you can see the differences here. This is the B Club Special set right here. And it says casino quality on it. And it is, okay, for all intents and purposes. Here's my little Bellagio set. For all intents and purposes, it's very much like the casino quality chips. Cards. We're talking about face cards. So, what are you looking for in your deck? Well, it's different for everybody. For me, I was looking for something unique and interesting and fun, something that would stand out head and shoulders above the rest with paper cards. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't find that. But what most people are, and I found this out talking to all my friends, what most people are looking for in a deck is, number one, something that's very cost effective, something that's inexpensive, okay? They don't want low quality cards. They just want something that's inexpensive, that's easy to shuffle, that's durable, and that's mainstream, okay? Those four things. Mainstream, meaning they don't want a 4-color deck. They don't want really unique, abstract artwork. They want something that is easy to understand, simple. You can shut your brain down, and you can turn yourself and turn autopilot on, and you understand exactly what you're looking at when you peek at your cards. That's what they want. Those 4 things. Okay, well, my unique original art and unique original fonts and unique original look don't matter to a lot of people. So take that into consideration. And now, from what I've seen, there's one more thing to discuss. Okay, I'm talking about like home, playing for fun kind of games. If you're playing cash games, or if you run a casino, speaking of casino cards, and that's where we're tying this all back into here. If you have that, you also have a security issue. And believe me, there are people in the poker community who will do anything they can in their advantage, and they consider it part of the game to win. That means marking cards any way they can. I'm not going to go into how you do that. There's a billion ways to do that. Or edge sorting, or whatever they can, depending on printing of the cards, to gain a little advantage. All right, now, if that's a concern, so if you're playing cash games regularly, or you're hosting tournaments, or you run a casino, you're going to want some security, okay? So you're not going to go out and get some stock cards where everybody knows, oh, well, get the red B Club Special playing cards, and then, you can put those up your sleeve, and you can just cut those in, and, you'll win. You can sort your deck. You can do whatever you want, And so with, a home tournament, you have to be very careful about security. You want some unique cards. That's why casinos have their unique cards. And that's why they shoot their decks. That's why they cut, for the floor-used decks, they always cut the corners off. They used to drill a hole. They called it shooting the deck, right? So you want a certain level of security with your cards. And they throw these away. They swap these away all the time, right? Maybe they don't throw them. Maybe they try to sell them. But I imagine they don't sell as many as they use. So I'm sure they pitch a whole bunch of them. Donate them to various charitable organizations. Either way, so security is another issue that you have to consider. For me, I don't consider it. I just, we're not playing for cash here. We go to Vegas so often, we lose enough money, we don't need to lose any more. Let's say it that way. So security is also one of those items on that list you should be aware of and consider. Now, all right, so what do any of these decks satisfy those needs? For the mainstream, they want a mainstream card that's easy to read and understand. They want a durable, easy to shuffle and inexpensive. These do that. These are owned by the U.S. playing card company, Bicycle and B. Okay, they both have that air cushion finish. Let's see if they advertise it here. Let's grab one of these. Air cushion finish. Right there. Is that focusing? Air cushion finish. That's what you're looking for. If you find an air cushion finish deck, whether it be the B Club Special or the Bicycle playing decks, these meet all of that criteria. Because it has that plastic coated paper card, it's easy to clean. It's, kind of water resistant. It's just a wonderful, durable, useful playing card. So they've kind of perfected. I hate the word perfect. They've made a very efficient deck. Let's say that. All right, so let's say, it's done. Then easy, right? So why watch the rest of the series? Well, it gets a little bit more complicated. All right, let's say, you want to experiment a little. Let's say you've been playing with Bicycle for 5 years and you think, all right, well, I don't buy it. $3, $3.50 a deck. I don't understand why I'm paying that much. I'm going to go out and get a little $1 deck. These are also made by U.S. Playing Card Company, all right? So these meet the other criteria. They're mainstream. They're easy to read. Look, that king's pretty easy. And you can see there's already some wear on this, Nope, that was just dust. But there is wear. You can see the ding right here on this corner. Let's see if this is focusing. There's a ding right there on that corner, that people could use to edge sort. They can follow that king through the deck and then they can use that to their advantage. So with a paper deck, you'll find out real quick that the corners fray, especially if you're going to do a weave shuffle, all right? It's harder, and this is, it's harder to weave paper cards without that plastic coated finish on there, and paper cards in general are a little bit more difficult. Man, this is a really difficult weave shuffle for me. And those corners will fray, the edges will fray, they'll collect dirt. They're not water resistant as like the plastic coated playing cards are. And let's see if we can weave a couple of these B casino grade cards together here. They won't work near as well as some plastic cards, but they should work pretty well. You see, look at that weave. That was easy to do, plastic coated, easy to shuffle cards, right? And if you're just going to riffle them, it doesn't matter. Paper cards, will riffle just as, easily as anything else in the world. Unless you totally ruin it like that because you're trying to riffle on top of other cards for video's sake because there's not enough real estate in front of you. But, they riffle just fine. But you find out real quick, oh, yep, this is definitely a step down. These paper cards, all right? Not impressed with these. These are what are these? Streamline, because they're oh so streamlined. And the Aviator, same thing, okay? U.S. playing card, just paper, normal paper, non-air cushion, non-plastic coated finish cards. Okay, we get it, John. The paper cards aren't as good as the plastic coated ones. Well, I wouldn't say not as good. They don't have different criteria, right? If you're looking just for cost effectiveness, if you're going to play Russian Solitaire and smash your cards up or play some sort of slapjack game with it, right, where you're slapping cards out there, paper cards, are going to be destroyed anyway. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's a step down. What about a step up? Well, I like these, but I just want something just a little bit, nicer or different. Well, they do make an array of interesting cards. Okay, these are called Monarchs. This is made by Theory 11. These are sold as, like on Amazon, you'll find these as bicycle cards designed by Theory 11. Okay, so these are bicycle cards, kind of the same thing, but, supposedly these are done by, designed by artists, or at least people with some sort of, design background. So let's look at these. Well, there's obviously, some differences, but what exactly is different? Let's pull out the deck here and let's find out, okay? How quaint. Queen of Spades, okay? It's almost like I thought this through before I started the video, before I started the cameras. Okay, so look at this. So the Theory 11 is on the right. The normal bicycle standard playing deck air cushion finish is on the left. They both are plastic coated. They have a very similar texture to them. It looks like identical textures, okay? So plastic coated paper. But what's different? The artwork's exactly the same. Exactly. The face is the same. The scepter is the same. Her crown is the same. The pips are the same. The index, font is exactly the same. So what on earth has Theory 11 been doing? I know they make different decks. They make the white deck. They make the medallion deck. I forget what exactly they're called. But they have different decks, right? And then you turn them around, you're like, all right, well, at least they, got some new artwork on the back. No fat, naked cherub riding a bicycle with wings, okay? So, you're looking at this and you're like, all right, well, at first I was like, rip off alert. Why would you spend $9? That's what I paid for this. I paid too much for it. I bought it at a brick and mortar store. I know I shouldn't have, but I like to support poker and I like to support brick and mortar stores. And this one I also bought at a brick and mortar store, right? For like $3.50. So this Theory 11 deck is twice as much, and yet they use the exact same artwork. Well, why on earth would you ever buy that? All right, now this is really obnoxious, okay? And maybe for reasons that I need to explain. So on the left, let's look at this bicycle deck, okay? So this to me, now this isn't really how it works. I'm just trying to communicate the emotional, the feel of the card. This looks like an accountant, okay, sat down and was like, sitting behind the designer on the computer. Well, see that we can't have that rich of a color, so we need to make this more yellow to save on cost. Well, how much cost can we save on that? $1. Oh, well, $1, Dick, that's a huge amount. No. $1 for the whole fiscal year. What? Really? We're going to wash out this color just to save a couple of, less than a cent a deck? Well, yeah, I mean, that's $1. We can... really? And so, same with the red, and then the black, and then they get to her face, and they're like, all right, let's use black for her face, so it's solid and bold. And then they're like, well, actually, the blue dye is cheaper than the black. Really? And so how much are they really saving? Oh, our profits are up $5 ever since we, $5 for the fiscal year since we switched her face to blue. That's the sense that you get when you look at this card. It was made to a budget. Now, in contrast, you compare that to the Theory 11 Monarch here, okay? And it's the opposite. It's a designer, sitting on a computer like, that's not gold enough. More gold, more gold. That red, that red is not a royal red. We need it deeper. Deeper red, more, more. All right, that's good. Black, all right, her face is black. We need it bold. Oh, that blue square, that ugly blue square around the artwork, we're gonna make it black, bold. Yeah, that's right. Same with all, everything. Okay, it's just a slightly better deck. So every time I play with one of these decks now, I feel like I'm playing with an inferior deck. It's the same artwork. It's easy to recognize. And so you keep all of that mainstream stuff that you want, and you get that, it's just a little bit nicer, and it's really aggravating. The reason why it's aggravating is because I'm buying these decks now. I'm buying these Theory 11 decks, and I'm playing with them frequently because they're just, the nicest paper decks that I can buy. And, when you're talking about almost $10 a deck, you're in plastic card playing territory, and these, in my experience, do not last or stay as clean as plastic cards. Oh dear. It's really, it's really aggravating because I'm spending more money now on paper cards. Tell me what you think in the comments, and tell us what your favorite cards your regular go-to cards in the comments are. So really, and what this channel is kind of all about, it's not the science behind the cards, right? I mean, cards are cards. If you're looking for the most effective thing ever, you'd go out and buy the, clearance, discounted paper cards and just make do. But this channel is about finding things that are desirable, that you can connect with emotionally, looking for that kind of X factor, that unmeasurable thing. Like to me, I love those Monarchs. To a lot of you, you may look at those and it might not appeal to you at all. So really, in the paper card world, what you're looking for is desirability. Well, what do you want? What is your personal preference? And please, I invite you to leave comments. Tell us what you are looking for in your paper card set. Do you mind if it's shot? Are you looking for like branded cards? Are you looking for just normal paper? Do you like the plastic coated? Do you like the bead? Do you like the bicycle? Do you like the Monarchs? What kind of bicycle cards do you like? They make a huge variety of interesting bicycle cards. I've seen some very interesting cards made specifically for magic tricks that are paper. Anyway, leave a comment, tell us what you think. The next episode, we're going to talk about plastic cards. And if you're looking for better, different, a wider variety of cards from the paper card, because they've really made an efficient deck here, you're really going to have to move into the plastic decks. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and please comment. Tell us what your favorite paper, usable, playable face cards are.